Welcome back to TechRadar. I'm John McCann, the Deputy Editor.
And I'm Matt Phillips, TechRadar's video producer, and it's an exciting day here at TechRadar because OnePlus just announced a new phone, the OnePlus Nord, and we have some exclusive details, or I should say John has some exclusive details. I don't even know what these details are. I'm so excited. So we're going to ask John all about it. But first, John, just give us a little bit of background. What exactly is the OnePlus Nord? Why should we be excited?
So the OnePlus Nord is OnePlus's hotly rumoured, speculated, affordable smartphone. In recent years, OnePlus handsets have ever increased in price, moving away from their original sort of mid-range price point, and they're now mixing it in terms of price up there with Apple and Samsung. So you're looking at quite a lot of money for a OnePlus handset, and that's alienated maybe some of its original fans. So it's almost going back to its roots, although it's adamant that it's not, to bring out this secondary line of products.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And, you know, they kind of announced this phone by releasing a bit of an odd documentary-style video that's going to be part of a series, I suppose, on their Instagram page. And in there, they talked about this Nordic minimalist design. Can't even say it. But I wonder if that is where they kind of got the inspiration for this OnePlus Nord name, because obviously we heard a lot about the OnePlus Z, OnePlus Lite. So where did OnePlus Nord come from?
Absolutely. We've heard, a trio of names, and it turns out that it's settled on Nord, which is the more sort of left field option out of those, and it's one that maybe is less common in today's smartphone world where everyone's using numbers or characters or the words like Plus and Pro and Max.
Yes.
OnePlus Nord is a bit different. And the Nord name is not just a name for this handset, it's actually the name for a whole product line. So we can expect more Nord branded devices to come in the future. But at the moment, we're talking about the affordable smartphone. And I sat down actually with Carl Pei, the assistant head of OnePlus Nord, to talk a bit more about that name. And it's not just a case of plucking a name out of thin air. They actually started with a list of 400 different names, which is an
Crazy.
awful lot
of
names to go through. And it wasn't just a simple case of crossing off the ones they didn't quite fancy as much. There was also some legal wrangling in it as well. There isn't a name in 2020 now that a company somewhere in the world has got some sort of patent on.
Right.
So there is an aspect of naming a new device or product line that goes down, okay, which names are low risk for us? There's not really names that are zero risk anymore. Pretty much every word conceivable has had some sort of patent or brand after it. So partly it is looking at legal risk, and so that would have helped narrow down the list to an extent.
Right.
But also, OnePlus spins the story about what that means to it. It went back and goes, okay, we're wanting to hit more consumers is the long and short of it. How can we get more unit sales? And we need to hit new consumers. So OnePlus Nord is sort of targeted at a younger audience, and it's not just the younger audience, it's younger mindsets as well, they claim. And Nord in a number of European countries translates as north, and then that links to the North Star and people having like a North Star in their life which guides them through life and sort of helps them make their decisions. It's about being independent and sort of self-thinking, and so that's sort of where OnePlus is saying it comes from. It's an interesting name. Obviously they're jazzed about what they've picked. Whether it translates worldwide across various languages and countries remains to be seen. We'll have to say, and OnePlus is sort of banking on this brand name as well to sort of give it that oomph in the market to make it stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we've teased the people enough. Let's give them some exclusive details, shall we? So I know one of the exclusive details you know about this phone is the chipset, and that's obviously going to be something people are really excited to know about because this being a budget phone, we're expecting potentially a bit of a budget chipset. So which chipset is going in, and what does that mean for your average consumer?
Well, it's not budget, it's affordable. There is a clear distinction in the market.
Fair enough.
Budget handset sits at the bottom. It's a couple of $100 maybe. This is very much an affordable smartphone. So OnePlus wants it to have some flagship features, but at a more accessible price point is basically what we're looking at here. Right. So we're looking mid to high end of the market. And to complement that, it comes with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G chipset. So what does that mean? Well, that is the chipset series that sits between its high-end tier, the 8 series, which is in the top-end OnePlus phones, like the current OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro, and Qualcomm's mid-range series, which is the 6 series. So it is a mid to high-end chipset, and it does borrow a lot of flagship features from the higher chipset and brings them down. One of which we can also exclusively reveal is 5G connectivity. So the OnePlus Nord will be a 5G phone, which will be nice. Again, bringing 5G to another handset at a lower price point is always good. As that 5G market expands, as more handsets become available, as the actual network coverage rolls out more and more, there's still lots of people, myself included, who don't currently live in a 5G area, but within the next sort of 12 to 18 months, we'll see that network coverage expand a lot more, and having the sort of security that if you buy a 5G smartphone this year, budget, willing, that when 5G does come to your area, you'll be ready to go. And of course, that's a toss-up for everyone, whether they want to spend the money on a 5G handset or actually they go, I'll be all right with 4G for another 2 or 3 years. And again, that's still perfectly acceptable. But if you want to be sort of on the cutting edge, if you want to have access to those super fast download speeds, whether you're in an area or you hope it's coming to your area soon, then the OnePlus Nord could be a handset that you'd like to consider.
Absolutely. And they teased the price in that video as well. They're saying under $500. I believe, is it right? Under 500 euros as well? Is that what they've said?
They've told me it's going to be priced at 500 euros in Europe,
right.
Whether or not that means 499 in dollars and euros, because that would be under. I'd be surprised if they've said under $500 and then they price it at 449, for example. Sure. That would be quite a big drop. I'm pretty sure that's marketing speak for 499. Because yes, it is under, but only just.
Yeah, but absolutely.
That does mean it sits quite nicely. It does mean it'll be butting up against the new iPhone SE, which we've seen has been proved hugely popular at the moment this year. Also, there are plenty of other players. Google has the Pixel 3a XL, and we're expecting a Pixel 4a or 4a XL in the coming month or two. So it could be a brand new competitor from Google for the OnePlus to contend with. And of course, the cohort of other Chinese manufacturers, the likes of Oppo and Xiaomi, Vivo, Meizu, there's a whole host of them, Huawei and Honor. They're all sort of playing in that mid to high tier segment. So there's plenty of competition for OnePlus, but the price at least is good in terms of where it sits in the market. Price is obviously only one thing. We know it has a decent chipset. It's the same. The 765G is what we've seen in the LG Velvet, which we've recently reviewed on TechRadar. And during that review, it did perform well, which should bode well for the Nord and its performance and battery life. But of course, there's so many different factors that go into making a phone good or great or fantastic that we're going to have to wait and see. There's still a lot of unknowns. How many cameras is it going to have on the front and the back? What level are they going to be? How good is OnePlus's sort of integration of its software with various features? Is there going to be a new version of Oxygen OS running over Android? How big is the display going to be? These are lots of unknowns. But yeah, we know the chipset. We know it's going to be 5G. And we know it's pretty well priced.
Yeah, absolutely. And under $500 for a 5G phone, I think that's probably going to be the headline that grabs most people's attention, because I think 5G is one of those technologies that is out there and people are talking about it a lot and people want to get on board, but it is an expensive thing to get on board with. So offering this device to bring you in seems like a wise move to me. Does this make, I don't know, does this make this phone the cheapest 5G phone you could get?
I don't believe it does.
Right.
I think there are other ones of the same price or maybe slightly cheaper, but it's definitely towards the bottom end at the moment. But throughout this year and into next, we're going to see even cheaper 5G smartphones launch.
Sure.
Qualcomm has another chip coming up later this year, which brings it down to another tier, opening up a new price point for 5G. But it is a start, and for OnePlus, it will be OnePlus's cheapest phone, and it will be also their cheapest 5G phone. It's interesting that we're talking dollars as well. It's generally the global currency, but interestingly, it doesn't seem like the Nord is actually going to launch officially in North America.
Right.
It's a bit confusing. We don't have the full details yet, but OnePlus have basically said that it's going to launch fully in Europe and India first. That's fine, and we're expecting it either July 7th or July 10th. There's a couple of conflicting rumors at the moment, but we're expecting very soon anyway. However, it has said for North America that it will be available as part of a beta program at launch in limited numbers. So it doesn't sound like if you're in North America, it will be particularly easily available. And if you do want one, you may have to be pretty quick there may not be a lot of stock. So yeah, it's an interesting play from OnePlus. Perhaps they're reconsidering their North American interest and potentially testing the water there. But we're waiting on more information from them on that.
Fantastic stuff, fantastic stuff. And I know you mentioned to me before we started recording that one of the things you went through in this interview of yours was the 3 main focus points for this phone. So maybe just before we close out, we should touch on those and really get at what is driving the sort of production of this phone and why we should be excited about this phone.
Yeah, so chatting to Carl, and he said that the main 3 sort of drivers for the Nord is the cameras. So we're expecting some good camera quality. He's saying that it's going to be flagship level cameras, which is promising, but again, we'll have to wait and see. It's user interface. So there's going to be a focus on the software. There's going to be a focus on how snappy it is to move around and to open apps and to load various web pages and to upload the latest video to TikTok or whatever you're using. So there is a big play on that. And then the third aspect is what they are calling the OnePlus quality. So they're hoping that users who know OnePlus brand will hopefully know that the brand delivers good quality product. Obviously, that'll be up to the consumers whether or not they believe that is the case. But it is betting big, as I said during the start, that it is betting big on its brand. And it's hoping that people do see OnePlus as a quality brand and then thus believe that even though it's a cheaper handset at an affordable price point, it's still going to carry that quality. The handset will have to do a lot of the talking. Once we get the full specs and once we get it in for review, we'll be able to give a better idea of whether it's fulfilling what OnePlus is hoping that it will achieve. So yeah, there's still lots of question marks. It's an interesting, potentially positive start, but until we actually have the handset in our hands, it's difficult to say whether or not it will be a success.
Yeah, of course. And you said, I want to reiterate because I may have missed it in there, but you thinking mid-July kind of thing for a release, or at least that's what the rumors are saying. So fingers crossed we'll get it then.
Yeah, it should be the next couple of weeks, really.
Fantastic stuff. And when we do get it in, of course, we will do a video for you on TechRadar's YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe, hit the bell and all that fun stuff so you get notified. Maybe we'll even do a live one. I know we did one for the iPhone SE that did quite well, and we'll take people's questions from the chat. So if you want to see that, drop a like and let us know in the comments what you want to see from this phone as well. It'll be interesting to see what's important to you, what would be a deal breaker for you on this phone. I'm curious to see. Thanks so much for joining me, John. I appreciate it a lot. And remember to head over to techradar.com for all the latest tech news and reviews.
Goodbye.